has exactly the same problem that Amorim, but he knew that they weren't used to a 3-4-3, but he's imposed it on them anyway. They've got to deal with it.
I mean, the reality is it's a new style of play with players who don't naturally fit that system, and they don't train that much because the games are coming thick and fast. So it's always going to be slow process. It's always going to be one step forward, one step back, and then you think that they haven't. They're back to square one and they've lost again.
I just worry if they lose to this Leicester City team in the form that they have been in at home in front of their fans in an FA Cup match, that people will start to say it's not working and it is time to change now. You know, you can't be losing.
Really? My God!
I'm not saying forever, but until you get to that pre-season.
And repeat, rinse and repeat. We're talking about it with Leicester and Ruud. Now we're talking about it with Amorim and United. Do
you think this form continues right through to the end of the season? And all these players that come into Manchester United go, we believe in what you're saying, Ruben.
He's had one transfer window, Amorim, where he's had to ship out a want-away player in Marcus Rashford, who would appear to be a divisive influence in the dressing room. And he's, Anthony's gone. He's had one window where he's not been able to bring anybody in. If he doesn't get a summer window to get the players in to understand his system, what was the point of bringing him in the first place?
As the players prepare to come out, there's pressure on Ruud van Nistelrooy in the opposing dugout, in my opinion anyway. You guys can tell me there isn't. I wonder if these Leicester fans could stomach a big defeat here against Manchester United tonight. I don't think they would. Last time out against Everton, they saw a team that lacked the right application and attitude. They didn't show the fight, the heart that they expect from players in a Leicester City shirt. Is tonight just about these Leicester players putting some pride back into it?
Yeah, I think it's about they showed character and spirit against Spurs, and that's what the fans want to see. You might not be as good as the team that you're playing against, but at least have a go, have a bit of spirit and positivity about you, and that's what the fans want to see.
We'll see if they do have that fight here this evening. Lucy, how do they get some change out of this one? How do they create some pressure away from home on Manchester United and maybe spring a surprise?
Yeah, I think that, as he sort of plays a 4-2-3-1 against this three at the backside Manchester United, so it's about attacking the spaces that are left when Manchester United go forward, and there are a lot of those spaces. They're not as good when they lose possession as other teams, so there are chances. So Leicester have just got to be compact, defend well, and then hit wide and hit forward to Daka when they do win the ball back.
Ruben Amorim down in front of us, already making his way into the dugout. I'm sure these Manchester United fans waiting to catch a glimpse of their former hero, Ruud van Nistelrooy. His focus will be on taking a big victory here in the FA Cup fourth round. We've got 10 live games coming for you across this fourth round. Leyton Orient against Manchester City tomorrow lunchtime on TalkSport. That's 12:15. We'll have FA Cup game day live with Adrian Durham from 2:15 before Birmingham against Newcastle and Brighton against Chelsea. And over on TalkSport 2, 12:15, Leeds against Millwall, followed by Everton against Bournemouth at 3 p.m. Applause, warm applause for Ruud van Nistelrooy, the scorer of 150 goals in 219 games at Old Trafford, and he gives a big hug to Ruben Amorim. Your commentary team here for a struggling Leicester City side visiting Manchester United in the FA Cup fourth round is the former Leeds forward Lucy Ward and TalkSport's Ian Danton.
Thank you, Hugh, and a very good evening to you wherever and however you're listening to TalkSport. Round 4 of the FA Cup gets underway. This, the first of 11 commentary games across our network between now and Tuesday night, including our exclusive commentary of Plymouth at home to Liverpool on Sunday afternoon. It all begins here with two sides happy to forget their Premier League shortcomings for one night at least. Manchester United, the holders of this trophy, navigated a tricky tie at the Emirates Stadium in round 3. Despite going down to 10 men, they beat Arsenal on penalties, and they've beaten Leicester twice here at Old Trafford already this season. 5-2 in the Carabao Cup in October, followed swiftly by a Premier League victory 11 days later. Ruud van Nistelrooy happened to be interim United boss at the time for those wins. Now he's here in the other dugout as the new man at the Foxes, trying to steer them away from the relegation trouble they're currently in. But his task this evening is to try and heap more misery on a United fan base more used to home defeats these days than wins. 7 losses in 13 matches, and Ruben Amorim has presided over 5 of those defeats. Get this, that's more home defeats than he had in his last 75 games in charge of Sporting before his move here. Team news, 2 changes for United, a debut at left wing back for Patrick Dorgu and a recall for Rasmus Højlund. 4 changes for Leicester City. In come Daka, Okoli, Thomas, and the returning Ndidi from injury. Winks, Christensen, Vestergaard and Vardy miss out for Leicester. The stricken Martinez and Garnacho out for Manchester United. And it's Manchester United who get us underway. They're kicking from left to right as we look towards the south stand away to our right-hand side. The Stretford end to our left. That's the end that Leicester in all blue will be attacking. Manchester United in the traditional red shirts, white shorts, black socks, and Lucy Ward is alongside me for the ride this evening.
Right, first thing you see is Dorgu is actually playing right wing back, even though he's a left footer, so it looks like he's got inverted wing back, so his widest players are going to be inverted, which means sort of make sure that the space is sort of squashed in the inside channels, but just see how it develops. So that's quite an interesting choice.
So for Manchester United, Onana in goal, Yoro, Maguire and Mazraoui, the 3 centre-backs. Then it is Dorgu, Ugarte, Mainu and Dalot. Then Ahmad, Højlund and Fernandes in attack. For Leicester, Hermansen the keeper, Justin, Fass, Okoli and Thomas, Ndidi and Soumaré, Ayew, El Khanous and Decordova-Reid in behind Daka. As Leicester players caught off the ball, Boubakary Soumaré, so a free kick for the Foxes, just shy of the halfway line, just down in front of our commentary position. We're about halfway back in the Sir Bobby Charlton stand, just slightly to the right of the halfway line, closer to the travelling Leicester fans than the Stretford end to our left. And as Hugh was talking about before the kick-off, just over 1,000 Leicester fans have stumped up the Reddies to be here tonight for this 4th round tie. Extra time and penalties are there as a provision, and there is no, I repeat, no VAR, not till round 5 at least. Happy days. Ball headed back to halfway, and Leicester head it into the United half, but Mazraoui can let it bounce out of play and take a throw and find Harry Maguire himself wants a fox.
Yeah, Mazraoui's playing left-sided centre-back, and Lenny Yoro's playing right-sided with obviously Maguire in the middle. I think Yoro is much more suited to that right-hand side. He can defend that channel well. Mazraoui just gets moved around, doesn't he? He's so versatile that he can play right wing-back, he plays right centre-back, and
can be a blessing and a curse.
Yeah, absolutely.
Leicester in possession with Justin, who scored twice in the 6-2 win against Queen's Park Rangers at the King Power in round 3. Looks for Daka down the far right-hand side, up against Dalot. And it goes back to halfway, and forced back into his own half was Bilal El Khanous. Justin keeps the ball away from Bruno Fernandes, and then Wout Fass with that familiar mop of curly hair will guide it back to Mads Hermansen. Back fit again, back in the side, neatly chipped out to El Khanous, just shy of the centre circle, who flicks it out to Justin, but he has to check himself before he can get control of the ball. And Ndidi now has it back in the Leicester side after injury. It's good to see him back. Yeah,
and Okoli playing left side. He's not fancied him really, Van Nistelrooy, Okoli, so this is a big night for him to play well, because defensively they've been poor.
Daka trying to get in behind Yoro, and he's picked the ball up right-hand side, tucks it infield to Decordova-Reid, right-hand corner of the United penalty area. Now it's taken up by El Khanous, wants to put the ball in the box maybe. He's got 2 to aim at. Luke Thomas has pushed forward from left-back, and eventually a United player gets a toe in. Throw into Leicester on the far side of the field. 3 minutes gone on TalkSport 0-0. And the throw-in's taken quickly and worked back to Ndidi. And back it goes into the Leicester half for Wout Fass. It's been out since December the 9th, rule for Ndidi. Edging towards 300 appearances for the Foxes. Here is Okoli, one of the recent arrivals. Dispossessed Soumaré, and it's Ugarte who picks it up inside right for Manchester United. Tried to work it in field for Ahmad, but won back instead by Daka. That's a lazy touch from Daka and allowed Ugarte to win the ball back, and now Ahmad again for Manchester United. Bruno Fernandes just chips it from right to left to Mazraoui at the edge of the centre circle. Now it goes out to the left-hand side. Lucy Ward.
I'll tell you what, both teams have given the ball away. It's been quite a sort of low-key start. The crowd are trying to get both teams going, but both have given it away. It's quite sloppily.
As Ahmad gives it away to Soumaré, who powers his way into the United half. Now Daka down the left-hand side of the area. Yoro's trying to stick with him. Gets an important foot in, Lenny Yoro. And then Dorgu clears it downfield, but it can't stay in play. And Leicester have a throw, and the Leicester fans are quite encouraged by that. 0-0.
Yeah, it's always going to be looking for Daka in the channels, and you've got to make sure that you're in behind the wing backs, because Yoro dealt with that quite well. He does defend that channel very, very well. He's athletic and he keeps up with play.
Luke Thomas, given a rare start tonight, has to go back into his own half with a pass for Wout Faes. I'm a poet and I didn't know it. And he will square the ball over to his right, and James Justin. El Khanous now comes inside his own half to pick up possession. Indeed, he gives it away. Yeah, the ball's a bit like a hot potato so far for both sets of outfield players. Neither Manchester United nor Leicester City able to string more than 6 or 7 passes together currently.
You know, I thought that Manchester United were going to be looking for a left-footed left wing back for a little bit of balance, and they've got one and they've put him on the right.
Now Daka trying to go through the middle at the edge of the area, holds it up at the edge of the box, tees it up.
Yeah, he held that well, Onana, actually, and they broke away well. And again, I think the recovery from Manchester United players sometimes leaves a lot to be desired, and leave that back three quite exposed. They don't particularly want to push up the pitch. Maguire quite happy to sit a little bit deeper, but so that leaves a big gap between defence and midfield, which opponents really do exploit.
Maguire squares it for Mazraoui. Back again for Harry Maguire. Lisandro Martinez then out, presumably for the rest of the season, with the cruciate ligament injury he picked up against Crystal Palace. Onana. No Bayindir in the United squad tonight, who kept goal against Arsenal. Leicester have the ball back inside their own half with Faes. Square ball to Akoli. Tries to lift it quickly, looking for Thomas, but overhit the pass. But it was applauded by Van Nistelrooy, at least the intention of Caleb Akoli. United, though, have a throw just over halfway down in front of us. 0-0.
Yeah, they're trying to pass it, Leicester. You know, when they do get it, they're trying to get up the pitch quick. They actually press United at times quite high when they think that they can win it up the pitch.
And Daka's no slouch, but he's the only one that's really pressing in the further forward areas. Maguire allowed to carry the ball to the edge of the centre circle, floats it out to the left hand side for Dalot, nods it in field well. Mainu sees the ball bounce over his head as he tried to run onto it. Leicester try and bring it clear, and indeed he is fouled by Dalot, and Michael Salisbury, the referee tonight, gives Leicester City a free kick. 7.5 minutes gone. You're listening to Talk Sport at the start of our FA Cup round 4 coverage. Manchester United 0, Leicester City 0.
Yeah, Leicester win it back, and they're just looking for the pace of Daka, looking for the support from Ayew, and then Decordova-Reid is at the right hand side, just trying to hold the width on that right hand side. So it's about defending well, and they look a little bit better structured than I've seen them before, Leicester.
Dorgu trying to beat Ayew down this right hand side for Manchester United, but Leicester won it back, and Ayew's had their first shot in anger tonight, tries to take it away from Dorgu, and Dorgu wins a throw off Ayew, takes it quickly. Ugarte guides it back to the centre half positions. Maguire has it and strokes it out to the left for Mazraoui, just shy of the halfway line. Plays it up to Mainu on halfway, who played as a false 9 against Crystal Palace.
I like him there though, Ian. I like him as a 10. I saw him at FCSB when he was out in Bucharest, and he played well there, and I think that he just doesn't have the responsibility as much for recovery, and he can sort of use his passing ability and getting himself forward. He played well. I think he's much more comfortable there,
and that also allows Bruno Fernandes to hit deeper through balls to get players in behind over the top. Justin for Leicester in their right back position, plays the ball long downfield over the halfway line, but it's nowhere near Patson Daka, and so Manchester United can keep possession inside their own half. A chilly night in Manchester, but it's clear, no rain, and it was a chilly wind outside, but this bowl stadium with no gaps in it is keeping the worst of the windy conditions away from our commentary position. Would be different if we were at Stoke. Here's Ahmad, little back heel for Dorgu, right hand corner of the penalty area. Akoli sticks his foot in, gets it half clear, driven back into the box by Ugarte. Indeed, he heads it up in the air, and that allows Hermansen to come to the edge of his 6-yard box and claim well for Leicester. 0-0.
Yeah, that just gives an idea of why Dorgu is playing as a left footer on the right wing back. So he's going to come inside, Ahmad's going to go and run the channel, and it just allows him that space to run inside. And that's the only reason I think it. I think Amorim's done it before, and to think it doesn't quite look as balanced.
El Khanous for Leicester, just travelling, jogging really over the halfway line. And Ndidi now tucks it out to Decordova-Reid. on the far right-hand side for Leicester as they're attacking the Stretford end in this first half on TalkSport. Very warm welcome to those of our listeners via Sirius XM FC in the USA and Canada on Friday afternoon over there across the pond. Loads of FA Cup football for you across the weekend, starting here tonight where it's 0-0. We've played 10 minutes at Old Trafford.
It's a bit lopsided the way that Leicester are playing. It's sort of Thomas steps up to sort of leave a back three with Justin tucking in at that right back, and just so that they can try and match up. He's stepping in onto Ahmad so that he doesn't receive the ball as easily as he possibly can.
Dorgu thought he'd lost possession to Luke Thomas on this near side, but won it back, and it's back with Harry Maguire once again. Seeing a lot of the ball in these early stages, Maguire, and looking to set up play from the back. Mazraoui sends it out left to Dalot, but he's under pressure from James Justin, so has to force the ball back into his own half for Mazraoui once again, and the Moroccan will square it infield once again for Harry Maguire. Daka now facing him up midway point of the half, so a square ball to the right for Yoro, who plays a 1-2 with Dorgu, but then Ayew straight on top of him, so Onana ends up picking up possession. Dalot now left hand side, and it's quite a high press from Leicester. It forces Dalot to hit it long up to halfway, bounces over Ahmad's head, and Leicester win it back. Jordan Ayew drifting out to the left-hand corner of the penalty area, into the box. Daka with his back to goal, trying to wrestle his way past Harry Maguire, and then Soumaré just chops down Ahmad. And Manchester United get a very cheap free kick at the edge of their own penalty area, and Soumaré escapes a yellow card for that. 0-0.
Harry Maguire actually defended that really well. Ball went into Daka, and it was just a duel between the pair of them, and the physicality of Maguire won over. But like you said, Ian, I think that Leicester, when they can sense it, they do push the game on about 10 or 15 metres, and it just puts Manchester United under pressure at the back.
Here is Bruno Fernandes. Mainu. Lovely turn initially to get away from Justin, but Justin did well, got back goal side, and he forced the foul as Mainu pushed him over. Free kick to Leicester, about 10 yards inside the United half, 0-0.
What Justin did then, he jumped from that sort of right back, right centre back, and he went with Mainu, and he managed to just nick in, and then as the ball came back, like you said, just put his body in the way, and all of a sudden Leicester have a free kick sort of halfway into Manchester United's half, and they could just put a bit of pressure on Nicole and fast up the pitch and just trying to cause a few problems. And Man United really struggle at set pieces and have done all season.
They do indeed. He's up there as well. He's a tall man, just like the centre half, so it's either going to be a right-footed delivery from El Khanous or left-footed from Luke Thomas. Thomas runs up to the ball and delays it. El Khanous swings it in right-footed to the edge of the area, comfortably cleared by the United rearguard, and Soumaré retrieves it in the centre circle and goes back to Hermansen. 0-0 on TalkSport. We played 13 minutes at Old Trafford.
I think that Leicester feel they look quite comfortable. You know, they're passing the ball well. I think that those two in the middle, Ndidi and Soumaré, protect that back three, back four, depending on whether Thomas has gone further up. And then we've got a little bit of pace at the further up the pitch as well, and look a little bit more confident than you probably expect them to.
Well, they were 2-0 down by this point at Goodison Park a week ago in the Premier League, and resigned to defeat already at that point, I should imagine, and it ended up being 4 at Goodison. Oh, Fass with a dreadful pass that completely bypassed Hermansen. He prevented a corner kick, and it was actually well sent down the left-hand side by Akoli, but Ugarte will tidy up for Manchester United and guide the ball in field. Mazraoui and Maguire almost getting a mix-up, but they win the ball back.
There's a bit of fragility about, you know, that just panicked then when the ball was just passed in between Maguire and Mazraoui. You know, they're not quite comfortable in their own skin within this system, particularly at home, Manchester United, and every so often you sort of see glimpses of that.
Throwing on halfway over on the far side of the field for Diogo Dalot. Maguire has it once more and sends it along the 18-yard line from left to right to Yoro. Dorgu, the new signing, plays it back via Yoro to Onana, who smacks it right-footed downfield first time of asking. Fast with a strong header on halfway ahead of Højlund, who I don't think has touched the ball yet for Manchester United, coming back into the side tonight.
I'm not surprised because they've got inverted wing backs. It means that nobody's going down the outside. There's no real width. When Dalot gets it, he wants to come inside on his right, and when Dorgu gets it, he wants to come inside on his left. So they've not really got that width, Manchester United, which means that Højlund is not being served.
0-0. Quarter of an hour gone. And the Manchester United fans just upping the ante a little bit and demanding a little bit more from their players as Maguire sends it forward. It's comfortably intercepted by James Justin, and then Leicester win a throw for themselves out on the far side of the field. Manchester United are 5 unbeaten against Leicester in the Premier League or League Cup. And Ruud van Nistelrooy,
I think he'd be pleased, don't you? With the opening part of the game, opening 15 minutes or so of the game.
Both him and Amorim have been at the edge of their technical areas pretty much since the get-go. Ruud looking very stylish in his dark overcoat and his grey slacks. Amorim more of a tracksuit manager.
Slacks.
On his haunches, AVB style. And he has been for at least the last 5 minutes.
Slacks?
Well, you know.
Trousers.
What I know about fashion, you could write on the back of a postage stamp with a very thick marker pen.
Yeah, and you'd have room.
Free kick to Leicester on halfway, taken quickly by Ndidi, who gets it back from Justin. I don't care. Fass, faced up by Højlund, so he squares it right for Justin.
Can you see how they set up in a back three when they've got it as well?
Yeah.
Leicester just trying to make sure that they push forward in those wide areas. Thomas on that left-hand side, and they take it in turns who is part of that back three as well. It's always a Coley and it's always Fass, but Justin might be in it, Thomas might be in it.
That's Lucy Ward alongside me tonight, former Leeds United striker. You're listening to Manchester United 0, Leicester 0 in the FA Cup Game Day live on TalkSport with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup. 18 plus, please drink responsibly. Dorgu's got away down the right hand side, the new signing tries to pull it back to Ahmad at the edge of the area, but back come the Leicester defence after, well, Luke Thomas just let the ball sail past him and allowed Dorgu to sprint down this near side. It ends up being a United corner, 0-0 on 16 minutes.
So you're a new signing for Manchester United, you're a terrific left wing back, and then you put right wing back and the ball is free, you're running down that right hand side and you don't really feel comfortable there. Just trying to get a right-footed cross across, but it's a corner now.
Which Ahmad's going to take. Left-footed in-swinger in the southeast corner, next to where the Leicester fans are away to our right. In it comes from Ahmad, into the near post, headed out by Daka, who was defending that front post. And Dorgu, who won that corner, retrieves the loose ball just by the halfway line, and Fernandes just tucks it infield to Ugarte. We'll have it again, the Manchester United captain, Bruno Fernandes. Back for Mazraoui, who's the last man in the centre circle. Dorgu picks it up again and fires it down this right-hand side for Ahmad. Just drops his shoulder, but then shows too much of that to Daka, who's still back defending, and Daka wins it back for Leicester City. Soumare tucks it back to Akoli. His long hair tied up in a top knot. And he'll square it for the other long-haired defender wearing all blue, Wout Fass, the Belgian. Into the feet of Soumare. And Ndidi back as captain for Leicester, as well as returning to the team tonight.
They don't quite look as comfortable when they're passing on the edge of their area. Leicester, they look better when they're playing in the right areas further up the pitch.
Very neatly done from Ndidi, though, just to protect the ball from Rasmus Højlund, midway point of his own half. Akoli up to Jordan Ayew, who's had the only shot on target so far this evening, and it was a lovely hit, but it was straight at Andre Onana. But now he's motoring down the inside left channel. Ayew just stops his run, tucks it back in field for Soumare, plays a short 1-2 with Ndidi, and then back out to this near side, the left, and Jordan Ayew. Leicester attacking the Stretford end to our left in this first half. 0-0, 18 and a half minutes gone on TalkSport in the FA Cup fourth round. Akoli fires it out to the near touchline looking for Thomas, but Dorgu did well and stuck his foot in first and diverted it clear, and it's back with Maguire.
Man United automatically just retreat back into a back five. They're not really aggressive in terms of, they just allow Leicester to have it in their own half, and then they sort of engage further up the pitch.
Decordova-Reid has just dispossessed Diogo Dalot on the far side. El Canouse with quick feet on the far touchline keeps it in play. Decordova-Reid now drifts infield. Soumare, that's a lazy ball infield, easily picked off by Ugarte. And now Højlund, first time we've seen him involved tonight, tries to fire it up to Ahmad, 30 yards out. 5 Leicester defenders in front of him. Dorgu making a run on the overlap right-hand side. Ahmad comes in field, plays a 1-2 with Mainu, now strokes it out to Dorgu, level with the edge of the area right-hand side. Was caught off the ball spotted by Michael Salisbury. Thomas the offender, free kick to Manchester United, almost at the right-hand corner of Leicester's penalty area, 0-0.
Probably the best bit of play from Manchester United in terms of 1 and 2 touch, quick play. That's the way to get past a group of players who're going to try and defend compact at the edge of their own area. Once you get into that sort of area, and Dogu then, he just tried to go down the right-hand side past Thomas, but Thomas just stopped him.
Well, now Ahmad's being spoken to by Bruno Fernandes about the fact that he's going to take charge of this free kick. I thought he was giving him instructions about how to send this free kick in, but I think Bruno Fernandes has pulled rank and he's going to strike this one into the area. A right-footed outswinger, keeping it away from Hermansen. Leicester with their line of defenders around the penalty spot, and a clutch of United defenders at the far post. Ahmad runs over the ball. It will be Bruno Fernandes who actually plays it short to Ahmad, who picks it up the edge of the area. The drive comes off Jordan Ayew and loops over the crossbar for Manchester United's first corner of the game at the South Stand end. 20 gone, 0-0.
Trying to be a little bit clever, just lays it into Ahmad, but he just has so much time and just let the ball slowly move across his body, and then eventually Ayew comes out and engages him on the end, and again a corner on the far side this time.
Bruno Fernandes has gone across to take that one as well, where the Sir Alex Ferguson meets the South Stand. The referee just having a word with 1 or 2 at the edge of the area about pushing and shoving that he's seeing. A very packed 6-yard area for what will be an in-swinging corner from the Portuguese. A couple of United players lurking at the edge of the area. Ahmad and also Dorgu. In it comes near post from Bruno Fernandes, headed out by Soumaré, straight back to Bruno Fernandes, left-hand corner of the area, squares it across the edge of the box. The first touch from Ahmad let him down, but he still back heels it to the edge of the area, and it's a shot on goal from Dorgu with his weaker right foot that wasn't that far over the crossbar. Hermansen watched it all the way. It'll be a goal kick to Leicester City, 0-0 on TalkSport.
Found himself in a good position there, Dogu. Again, a bit of space, the ball comes to him, but it's a great little play by Fernandes. Plays it across to Ahmad, all the space in the world. Probably could have struck it first time, but I don't think he was quite ready for the ball across. For the last few minutes, they've just sort of come into it. Manchester United, it's been quite low-key, no real chances either side, although Leicester have probably had the majority of the better possession further up the pitch.
Goal kick taken by Okoli to give it to Hermansen, who can hit it right-footed downfield, aiming at Jordan Ayew. Yoro wins the header for Manchester United on halfway. Ugarte tried to lob it into the Leicester half, but the Foxes win it back. And Thomas will tuck it back to Caleb Okoli. Fass further back to his goalkeeper Hermansen, who lofted it out to Thomas on this left-hand side. And Dorgu powered his way in front of him and headed it down, but couldn't find Ahmed on this near side. Leicester couldn't clear it properly though, and United have it back on the halfway line with Mazraoui. Just drifts away from Daka, out to the left-hand side, and Dalot gives it back to Mazraoui. Bruno Fernandes looking to scheme his way forward, plays it back out to the left wing, and Dalot once more. A couple of Leicester players in front of him. Fernandes plays it in field to Mainu, into the centre circle for Yoro. Amorim telling his players, get forward. He's gesturing them to move to the right. Well, they'll have a free kick to send into the box here after Dorgu was upended by Okoli.
Yeah, Menu's causing problems, because when he sort of steps in, then one of the centre-backs has to follow him as he's playing one of the 2 10s behind Rasmus Højlund, who again, I feel a bit for Højlund because he doesn't get many chances, because he doesn't get that much ball into the box where he's, you know, the most positive and the most lethal. He doesn't really get those chances.
So Bruno Fernandes once again in charge of the free kick. This is much deeper, pretty much at the halfway point of the Leicester half. Just clips it down the right-hand side of the area, looking for the run of Højlund. Lovely idea, but the ball skipped away from the United number 9 and bounced through to Hermansen, and it stays 0-0 midway through the first half. Lucy Ward.
He's probably the only one with a bit of game craft, Bruno Fernandes. You know, he sort of understands just doing something a little bit different might create something for Manchester United, because Leicester are trying their best to defend as compact as possible, reduce the spaces. So that little free kick that just curled around trying to get in front of Højlund, just not too far away.
And whilst there are trials and tribulations for Manchester United, it highlights the importance of a player as clever,
so important,
and as talented as Bruno Fernandes, who can turn a game in a moment. But it is 0-0. Although the atmosphere inside Old Trafford is still positive. Leicester win it back, and here's Jordan Ayew, who's had the one shot on target in this game, driving into the Manchester United half. Thomas out on the left-hand side wants the ball played to him, but Ayew's kept hold of it. Now it's played out to Thomas by Soumare. Thomas at the left-hand corner of the area, stepping away from Dorgu and then passing it straight out of play whilst he was trying to give the ball back to Luke Thomas. Out of play to Soumare, rather. Throw into Manchester United. Loads more live football to come tomorrow on TalkSport FA Cup. Oh my, we are stacked. Leyton Orient, Manchester City. Our coverage starts at 11 at Brisbane Road. From noon on TalkSport 2, Leeds, Lucy's old club, against Millwall in round 4. I'll be at Goodison Park tomorrow, just down the East Lancs Road, for the 3 o'clock TalkSport 2 Cup tie. Everton against Bournemouth. 5:30 on TalkSport, Birmingham City against Newcastle United. Who? At 7:45 on TalkSport, Brighton against Chelsea. And that's just Saturday. Now, deckled over Reed for Leicester in the area. Wasteful drive way over the bar. There was only Patson Daka up with him. He was running out of room as he ran down the right-hand side of the 6-yard box, but he just went for glory and it went over the bar. 0-0.
Yeah, a couple of times Ayew has dragged his team up the pitch where he probably could have passed it quicker, and then when they got deckled over Reed on the ball on that right-hand side and he was the furthest forward, it's because they just took 2 passes to get there, and I think that's how you can hit Man United. When you run with the ball too long, that they just recover.
Short goal kick from Onana, and then Mazraoui works it to Lenny Yoro just to the right of his own penalty area, slips as he clears it downfield, and the offside flag goes up against Rasmus Højlund before he went up for the header with Okoli. So a free kick.
That was a chance, wasn't it, Ian, for deckled over Reed?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
he got himself right in front of goal, you know, albeit it was on the right-hand side, but it's just wild effort. But they're the ones where you've got to get those on target, because if you can nick a goal at this point in the game, where Man United have just come back into the game for sort of the last 10 minutes or so.
Well, it's 0-0. We're at 27 minutes at Old Trafford on this Friday evening, and Leicester City have not capitulated, but as Lucy Ward's already said, when they are passing out of their own defensive third, that's when they look a little bit skittish. Further down the field, they do look like they have Manchester United backpedaling on occasion, but Manchester United look much more composed, bringing the ball out of their own defensive third by contrast. Here's Onana finding Mazraoui, left-hand corner of the area, being closed down by El Kanous as Leicester push a little bit further forward once again. Goes back out from Onana to Mazraoui. Neat ball infield to Ugarte, who's just got away from Ndidi for a moment. Quite a few in blue shirts pressing forward here. Forces the long ball downfield. One in the air by Wout Fast. Drops in the centre circle of Dorgu. Mainu is dispossessed by Ndidi. Looked like a foul to me, but Michael Salisbury waves play on. Ball nicked in field by El Kanous, and it goes out for a throw to Leicester on the far side of the field. 0-0, 28 gone.
Van Nistelrooy will be very happy with the defensive structure from Leicester, with the way that they're sort of inhibiting Manchester United when in their own defensive third. You know, out of possession they look good. Leicester, they're sort of restricting them, but they just need to be careful. They're just trying to fiddle the ball through Leicester players in that central area. That is where Manchester United have got the most players, that central area. It's sort of like a box, the 2 10s and the 2 central midfielders behind can overload you as a team.
Ndidi up to halfway on the far right-hand side, trying to set Daka away down the right-hand side. It wasn't a good ball, and Daka had slipped anyway. Oh, Ndidi goes crunching in on Mazraoui, puts the ball out for a throw. Well, he's back. Throw into Manchester United, 0-0. That was a no-nonsense challenge. I think he's just being...
yeah, the ref's having a word,
the public warning that they used to give to wrestlers without being cautioned properly. Yeah, I think... Next time, he's in the book.
He had enough of Mazraoui. He just sort of not jumped into it, but he just sort of stretched out those long legs. Didn't quite catch him with the leading leg, but just certainly caught him with the trailing one.
Settle down is the internationally recognised sign language from Michael Salisbury to the Leicester captain. Approaching the half-hour mark, still 0-0. Ugarte drives the ball towards the halfway line. Mainu doesn't turn and go downfield, instead he knocks it back to Mazraoui. That's why you can hear those sort of disappointed noises from the the Manchester United fans inside Old Trafford. Now a long ball downfield, picks out the new signing Dorgu. But under pressure from Thomas, he has to work the ball back to Yoro on halfway. Ugarte, square along the halfway line, right to left to pick out Mazraoui. Now out to Dalot, left-hand side. Plays the ball in field blind, straight to Soumare, and he will set Jordan Ayew on his way, who's sprinting into the Manchester United half, down the left-hand side. Daka up there with him, Deco-Reed now joining him. Thinks about putting a cross in Ayew, but he's kept hold of it. Works it back to Luke Thomas, who rolls his foot in the ball. Decent ball in and headed behind by Mazraoui for Leicester's first corner at the Stretford end as we reach the half hour, 0-0.
Yeah, he did really well then. Then right up the pitch, and what he doesn't do, he doesn't lose it. He gets himself up the pitch and then he has a look for a teammate, and in the end, the cross comes in from Thomas, and he's not really found himself up the pitch that many times because he's got to cope with Dorgu and he's got to cope with Ahmad on that right-hand side as well. But they've got themselves and this is an opportunity for Leicester. You know, we talk about them defending well, have a good structure, but these are the moments where you've got to have an effect on the opposition.
Mazraoui turned the ball behind, and it's only now that Luke Thomas is spotting the ball down where the Sir Alex Ferguson stand. There's lots of Sir Alex Ferguson fans in here. That's 70,000 odd. Where that stand meets the Stretford end, away to our left-hand side. Left-footed in-swinger to come from the Leicester number 33. Ndidi just wrestling with Hoyland at the edge of the 6-yard box. I think Michael Salisbury's keeping his eye on those two. In it comes from Thomas. The heads go up and everybody misses. I think Okoli was the nearest to it. And it drifts out of play, and it's gone out of play for what? A United throw? It is indeed a United throw, 0-0.
You don't often see the ball bounce on a corner right in the middle of the goal and nobody gets near it. From a Leicester or a Manchester United point of view, everybody's flying at it, but nobody gets a connection. That's a close one, an opportunity for Leicester.
But it stays 0-0 on Talk Sport. Lots more live sport, not just all the FA Cup ties. We'll bring you 11, but we've got live boxing tomorrow night from Manchester. Derek Chisora, Otto Wallin join Adam Catchell and the team tomorrow night for Fight Night. And the Super Bowl from 10:30 Sunday night on Talk Sport, the Chiefs against the Eagles. Manchester United coming forward. Amad Diallo up to the edge of the area, tries to play a 1-2 with Mainu. Mainu almost didn't believe in himself at the point when he was trying to find a teammate inside the area, and Leicester, through some skillful play from El Kanous, get the ball out of harm's way, 0-0.
The sheer numbers that Leicester had back then, the recovery has been absolutely brilliant. As soon as they lose it, they just get them, collapse themselves back onto the edge of the area, and even though Manchester United broke really quickly there, they just managed to get enough players back there to just smother Mainu there on the edge of the area.
0-0. James Justin fires it up to El Kanous. It's the first time I've seen Bilal El Kanous live, and he looks very, very sharp indeed.
You need to get him on the ball more, because he's just so clever. He's the bit of gamecraft on the Leicester side.
Trying to find Patson Daka with a through ball, but very comfortably intercepted for Manchester United by Harry Maguire. And for the first time tonight, Ruud van Nistelrooy returns to his bench with a look of dismay on his face.
Yeah, it was a silly ball. I mean, it's a ball forward where you're asking Daka to compete with three centre-backs to try and win it. If you can't find him, then you just got to take an extra pass. Just connect passes in that area of the pitch.
United, the 13 times winners and current holders. Oh, that's a poor ball from Harry Maguire, looking for Ahmad on this near side, but he passed it straight to his manager. That wasn't the best idea from Harry Maguire. So it's a Leicester throw just over the halfway line, down beneath us.
I've seen quite a lot of passes out of play. Probably been about 3 or 4 in this first half already.
Maybe it's the ball. I'll say no more about that. Maybe there's another different ball for this cup competition. Hello, Mikel. Actually, you can't hear me. They're in Dubai, aren't they?
Yeah.
Warm weather training. Throw into Leicester again. They've stolen some yards here down the left-hand side. Well, it's actually a free kick that's been won. A little push on Jordan Ayew by the new signing Dorgu. So Luke Thomas standing over this free kick, a chance to swirl the ball into the box.
Somebody,
what, you lot ganging up on me here?
No, there's somebody in the posh seats who's asleep. That's what we're staring at, which is
my word.
Interesting. Or not.
It's not that bad. Goodness. Just over 10 minutes to half-time. Leicester free kick on the near touchline. Luke Thomas to swing it in, really swirling and deep, and far too deep, beyond everybody in a blue shirt. 2 or 3 bounces and Dorgu can just let it drift out of play on the far side for a Manchester United throw. 0-0.
Not seen enough from Leicester when they get into those positions, whether it's a free kick, whether it's a corner, whether they get up the pitch. Just not enough for Manchester United to just feel threatened, because that'll affect how United play if Leicester do have that threat when they get forward.
Leicester have progressed from 7 of their last 8 round 4 FA Cup ties. The only exception was 3 years ago when they lost at Nottingham Forest. And Forest are the last Premier League team to play in the FA Cup. They go to Exeter on Tuesday night and will be there on TalkSport 2, as well as bringing you Champions League. The little matter of Manchester City against Real Madrid. Oof. Here is Mads Hermansen for Leicester. The goalkeeper clips it up to halfway, but it drifts over the head of Jordan Ayew. Okoli steps in front of Ahmad, and then Soumare and Ndidi between them somehow managed to get the ball up to El Khanous on halfway. He lofts it back to Soumare, and he looks for Bobby De Cordova-Reid. Tucks it in field to El Khanous. El Khanous looks early to try and slide it into Daka. Daka will find Jordan Ayew. Good defending from Lenny Yoro. Stepped out and won the ball for Manchester United. But again, United let to pass the ball back, and the natives are getting restless. 0-0.
Yeah, it's got to go forward, because you've got players for you have got players beyond the ball in this formation.
Well, here is Dorgu, right hand side, level with the area, plays it in field to Ugarte, rides the challenge of Daka. Now Ahmad turns away from El Khanous, quite central in the Leicester half, flicks it to his left for his captain Bruno Fernandes, out to Dallo on the left hand corner of the box, tries a right footed ball in, blocked at source by De Cordova-Reid. Hits the referee, but he allows play to continue because it was always destined to be a United ball. Yoro will shovel it out to this near side, the United right, and Dorgu level with the edge of the area, tries to go on the outside of Luke Thomas, and it's gone out of play for a corner kick to Manchester United.
So that's where having a left footer on it as right wing back with Dorgu doesn't work when he's getting down the right hand side, and he really doesn't want to use that right foot to put a ball in, so he waits a little bit, and then the ball's not quite as good as it could be, but they have got a corner from it.
You wait all January for a left wing back, and then you play him on the right. Yeah. Maybe he'll change. Well, Ahmed's going to have this corner kick at the southeast corner. Left-footed in-swinger for United. Again, plenty in the 6-yard box, wearing both red and blue. Right under the crossbar, and he's dropped it, the keeper, but he's plunged on top of the ball in the nick of time. There was no real United player that close to him to try and toe-poke the loose ball in, but Mads Hermansen holds on to it in the end.
Certainly asked questions of Hermansen. It just clipped it in, didn't it, Ahmad? So it just dropped. I mean, it probably was an easy catch, he says. There's not a goalkeeper, but no one around to just poke it in, because as soon as he drops it, you've got a problem.
I'd have fallen over and claimed for a free kick.
He nearly kicked it in his own net as it dropped on the floor.
Actually, I'd have more likely done that. Soumare for Leicester. It's 0-0 on TalkSport. Friday night in the FA Cup. 37 minutes gone at Old Trafford, and Ayew brings the ball in field, forced back into his own half by Dorgu. Other than the fact that he's playing as a right wing back, how do you think he's done so far, Lucy?
He's certainly trying his best. He's getting in good areas. I think he looks strong and physical, but just a natural left footer.
It's a good ball by El Khanous to get James Justin away. He's going through the centre of the field at the moment, the right back. Plays it out to De Cordova-Reid. Early ball into the box, headed out strongly by Maguire. Great diving header at his near post to get it out of harm's way. And then, well, United still haven't got it clear of their own penalty area. Now they do, to this new signing, Patrick Dorgu.
They haven't got De Cordova-Reid in the game anywhere near enough. Leicester is on that right hand side. He's doing a lot of defending, but he certainly gets himself up, and he's a problem. You know, he's good 1v1.
Well, bags of experience, Bobby De Cordova-Reid. 5 years at Fulham and over 200 appearances there before a free transfer to Leicester at the start of the season. He's a very valuable member of the squad. Proper off-the-peg Premier League experience. But it's still 0-0. We've got 6 minutes of normal time remaining in this first half at Old Trafford. Live on TalkSport. The holders, Manchester United, being held by the winners back in, 2021, wasn't it? Leicester City winning the FA Cup with that Yuri Tielemans wonder goal. Long ball downfield from Yoro, but everybody had come towards the ball for Manchester United and the ball just sailed over their heads and bounced through to the Leicester keeper, 0-0.
Quite frustrating, really. You know, that I think Hoyland, Ahmad, they all went towards, and Leicester players just recovered it well. Ball played over the top and just allowed Hermansen to get a hold of it.
It was a 6-2 win for Leicester against QPR in round 3. 6 shots on target, so they scored with every effort between the sticks, and 5 different goal scorers. They did win their last FA Cup tie against Manchester United. That was at the King Power, on their way to winning the 2021 trophy. But they've never met here in the FA Cup, these two. And Manchester United, looking to complete the set, wins in all 3 competitions at home against Leicester this season. Never done that before. Ayew is caught by Lenny Yoro inside the Leicester half.
Yeah, he's having a go, Ayew, because he played the ball when he had Yoro right up behind him, halfway in his own half, facing towards his own goal. The last place as a forward, you want to be given the ball.
Yeah, he was sort of saying thanks very much for that,
cheers.
wasn't he?
But he got a foul for it. But there's a lot of this game that's really not pretty at all. But from a Leicester point of view, it's about coming here, defending first, and defending first well, and I think they've certainly done that.
No doubt who the happier manager is at the moment on TalkSport. It is Ruud van Nistelrooy, who was here as interim United manager earlier in the season and beat Leicester twice whilst he was in charge here. One back by El Khanous, left-hand corner of the area, jinking away from Yoro, pulls it back, chance for Ndidi, blocked on the line, it's tucked away by Dickled-over-Reid, and Leicester hit the front 4 minutes from half-time, and that small band of Leicester fans away to our right. Joy once again, it's stunned silence. The holders are behind just prior to half-time, and it's the experienced Bobby Dickled-over-Reid who tucks it away after Ndidi's shot was blocked. Manchester United 0, Leicester 1.
I talked about how good Leicester had been defending, but what they have done in this game is when they've got themselves forward, they've committed bodies forward, and that was all about El Khanous down the left-hand side. He managed to get into space, good ball across. It's a great shot from Ndidi. It was well dealt with, but Dickled-over-Reid right in front of the goalkeeper, having to nod it in, and Leicester will be really, really happy so far with what they've done in this game. You know, they've not really had that much of a threat, but they do commit bodies forward. They win the ball high. El Khanous gets himself down in that left channel, puts a good ball in. Everybody's retreating. Nobody's marking Ndidi. I don't think Dickled-over-Reid's offside, but it's an instinct. It comes off Onana, and he just nods the ball into the back of the net. Didn't really know much about it. It's really instinctive the way he did that.
The shot from Ndidi was just saved by the foot of Onana. It was a good save from Onana, but it just went straight onto the head of Bobby Dickled-over-Reid, who scores his second Leicester City goal, 1 in the Premier League for the former Fulham man, and he has given the visitors a precious lead just shy of the break.
Yeah, that's the first bit of quality, isn't it? Proper bit of quality.
And it came from the player that you and I were talking about, Bilal El Khanous, with a little bit of quicksilver footwork down the left-hand side of the area, and Ndidi had himself superbly positioned for the pullback.
Yeah, and that's it. When you're a central midfielder arriving late in the box, what Manchester United defenders did is they all went with the near post cross, and so there's so much space for Ndidi to have a shot. Kept it on target, which is so important, and Arne, good save, and then it skips back against Dickled-over-Reid's head, and he just nods it into the back of the net. And to be fair, Leicester fans will be thinking, you know, the first 20 minutes we're doing all right here, half an hour, we've withstood a bit of pressure from Manchester United, and then all of a sudden they get a goal and something to cling on to.
Well, the next task, I'm sure, from Ruud van Nistelrooy's point of view, will to keep this scoreline until the referee's whistle goes for half-time. We've got 90 seconds of normal time to go in this first half. Can't think of many stoppages that we've had during the course of this opening half at Old Trafford, so it may only be 1 minute, or the referee may decide. You know, sometimes referees just blow on the 45, don't they? Free kick to Leicester, midway point of the Manchester United half, out to this near side, the left, as we look. Jordan Ayew trying to attract the attention of somebody in a Leicester shirt as he plays the ball diagonally to the right-hand corner of the area. Headed out by Mazraoui, drops for Ndidi on the far right-hand side of the field, trying to keep the ball in play in a tight area. Just want to throw off Bruno Fernandes, and Leicester will take their time over pretty much everything at this point, I imagine, once we get through to half-time. They lead by a goal to 0 at Old Trafford.
Yeah, there's certainly make sure that they get through to half-time. It's probably, you look at Van Nistelrooy and he's thinking about a game plan, and it absolutely perfection so far. They've got the goal, they've defended well, and it's about then now getting to half-time. What can we do in the second half? It's about splitting the game up into little sections, and Leicester have certainly done really well with this first half.
Into the last 30 seconds of the first 45, Leicester tuck the ball back to Mads Hermansen via Wout Fast. What have you spotted,
Yeah,
Lucy?
Man United have not had a shot on target yet. That's
No.
all. Just having a look in the statistics.
Just had that one run from Rasmus Højlund. It's the only time we've really seen him involved tonight. And Dorgu is dispossessed by Ayew, and there is 1 minute for Michael Salisbury to add on at the end of this first period. We're into that now on TalkSport. Manchester United have the ball in their own defensive third with a throw on this near side there, right, for Patrick Dorgu. He's looking to throw it infield for Bruno Fernandes. Gives it back to the new signing. Now Yoro thought about going back to his keeper, but Patson Daka was trying to cut off that route. Tucked in field by the new signing Dorgu, and it was intercepted, and Bruno Fernandes passed the ball out of play. Claims it was his throw, but it came off his boot last of all. And Leicester should be able to see this scoreline out to half-time based on this, Lucy Ward.
Yeah, it's been a poor performance, I think, from Manchester United so far. You know, they've not, everything's been in front of Leicester City. They've not really got in behind at all, and mostly to do with how, I think, positions that players are playing, not really to their strengths.
And there goes the half-time whistle. And you can hear the boos around Old Trafford. There's one thing that these fans covet, it's trophies. They won the FA Cup last year, but the holders are 45 minutes away from going out to a team they've already beaten twice here this season. Leicester City lead at the break, courtesy of a late first half goal from Bobby Decordova-Reid. El Khanous with the skill down the left-hand side of the area. Intelligent pull back to the edge of the box. Wilfred Ndidi back in the Leicester side, running in, clattered it goalwards. Good save by the feet of Andre Onana. But Johnny on the spot, it's Bobby on the spot. Decordova-Reid to nod it home from a yard or so out. And Leicester, who had the only other shot on target in that first half through an early strike from Jordan Ayew, have the lead here in the FA Cup fourth round at Old Trafford. Intriguing stuff at the break. Manchester United 0, Leicester City 1.
Well, I'm sorry, I'm not surprised by the boos that ring out inside Old Trafford at half-time, because Ruben Amorim's Manchester United, his players do not believe in what he wants them to do. I am sorry, but I just don't see it. They haven't created a chance, they haven't forced a save, not a single shot on target in the first half. What are they doing on the training ground exactly? Another game where he chooses to experiment with the side. He's got a brand new left wing back, left full back, the club has needed for so long. He's playing down the right hand side. On his debut, an experiment. It's not working. Bruno Fernandes, haven't seen you. Kobbie Mainoo, anonymous. Rasmus Højlund, might as well have got sold in January based on that performance. He wasn't in the stadium. I mean, what on earth is going on at Manchester United? And yes, credit where it is due to Ruud van Nistelrooy and how he has set up this Leicester City team. But I'm sorry, it looks like Leicester City are playing a championship team here. They look way too comfortable.
I think that you're right. I think that Leicester have been set. It's not been pretty at times. Leicester don't care because they've got that one goal. So let's break it down. So he's playing a left foot. Now, at Sporting, he did play a left foot or the right wing back, but he's not coming from that position of strength. At Sporting, he was in a position of strength. Here, that dog wants to come in and play now naturally wide, and both wing backs are facing inside. They're facing towards their own goal. So at any point do they stretch Leicester at all? Leicester are comfortable. Everything's in front of them. Everything that Manchester United do is predictable, because at the right times they drop deeper so that they allow Man United, go on, then you can play in front of us because you're not getting in behind us, because you're not doing anything special. Completely lacking in confidence, that's one thing, right? And it's very, very difficult to then play well when you're lacking in confidence, particularly here. We've talked about them playing at home, they're really struggling. But I want to see a left footer on the left-hand side and the right, just so that those players, Dalot, so he's comfortable, so Dorgu is comfortable on his debut, because you can see that he's got a little bit of pace, he's got strength, and he's got a good left foot. But Leicester are not giving them any space whatsoever, and they've found absolutely no solution to it whatsoever.
So many things aren't working for Manchester United. Bruno Fernandes playing deeper alongside Manuel Ugarte. Look at Kobbie Mainoo, barely touched the ball. He's playing up as number 10. He'd be more comfortable playing deeper in midfield. Bruno Fernandes would be more comfortable playing up front. The one time that Rasmus Højlund got a ball played in behind for him, he came short. There's just no relationship. There's no connection between the players out there. Absolutely
right, Hugh. The connections and the relationships, the consistency is not there. It's quite a rigid formation. It's based on the patterns of play that Amorim wants to put into them, that he hasn't had time to put into them. So what tends to happen with players who are then lacking in confidence is they revert to type. So they start to play like they did before and try and protect themselves, and then there's no attacking, there's no spark, there's nothing going forward, and then you've got players, they've got no space to play. Leicester are not giving them any space. So you have to have runners in behind, you have to move the ball quicker, and it's just something that's not happening.
I want to say I've been very, very impressed by Leicester City in that first half. They've just come with a real shape, real discipline, real stability. They're fighting for everything. Everything we said before the game they needed to show their fans, they have shown here so far this evening. The goal came just 3 minutes before half-time. Bobby de Cordova-Reid with the goal. But actually it came after one of the bright sparks for Leicester this season, Bilal El Khanouchi, highlighted him before the game, Lucy, got free down the left-hand side. Wilfred Ndidi was set up for a shot, saved by the feet of Andre Onana, and very quick reactions from de Cordova-Reid to put the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah, I think that Ruud van Nistelrooy came here and thought, right, we're not conceding early, we ain't conceding early here, so let's set up defensively. And then as the half went on, they thought, hang on a minute, we've got a chance here, because what they then did is they committed bodies forward when they knew that they could try and press Manchester United. And there's a couple of times leading up to that you saw Ayew just take the ball up the pitch, getting into space. De Cordova-Reid was getting into space on that right hand side, and then you get somebody with a little bit of gamecraft in El Khanouchi finding that little space in the channel, and Manchester United just defended the box so poorly.
Every time the ball gets turned over, there seems to be panic stations at the back for Manchester United. It was exactly that way as the goal came on 42 minutes. Manchester United have had 2 shots in that first half, none on target. 4 shots for Leicester, 3 of those on target. 50-50 in terms of the possession. United's expected goals, though, 0.04, which tells the tale. At the break in the FA Cup 4th round at Old Trafford, live on TalkSport, it is Manchester United 0, Leicester City 1.
The Emirates FA Cup, live on TalkSport with Carly.
What a drive, what a goal! Oh, yes!
The official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup. 18 plus, always drink responsibly.
Experience the intense atmosphere of live snooker with the 2025 BetVictor Welsh Open. Watch the finale of the Home Nation Series live in Llandudno at Venue Cymru, the 10th to 16th of February. Join the Pistol, Mark Allen, defending champion Gary Wilson, world champion Kyron Wilson, newly crowned Masters champion Shaun Murphy, live. To book your place, go to wst.tv/tickets. That's wst.tv/tickets.
And there it is, that's as good as it gets on this stage. Nissan Townstar EV strikes again. It's an unstoppable van, unstoppable.
Just fantastic. You can actually see the Pro Pilot technology in action. Effortless parallel parking.
It moves with all the confidence that comes with a 5-year warranty.
And with a bench full of all-star van experts, there's real strength in depth here.
That's all-star quality.
Search Nissan Townstar EV and visit your local all-star van centre to see for yourself.
Terms and conditions apply. 5 years or 100,000 miles, whichever comes first.
ProPilot is an advanced driver assist technology. Driver's responsibility to stay alert, drive safely, and control vehicle at all times.
Down. Why not keep it working while you rest? Download the XTB app and let your money work for you. Buy stocks and ETFs commission-free. Invest passively with investment plans. Open an ISA account. Earn up to 4.75% interest on uninvested funds and more. XTB, where your money works.
Your capital is at risk. XTB Limited is a global fintech, not a bank. Deposits should be made for investment purposes only. T's and C's apply.
You know that feeling when you've just saved big on your car insurance? Okay, all right. Well, when you add a choice of £20 rewards on top of that, it starts to feel a little bit more... From Just Eat, Sainsbury's and Halfords, plus a free Greggs coffee every month. Insurance is more rewarding when you've just used Confused. Just use confused.com. T's and C's apply. See website for details.
Gather round, Moonpigs. Can you feel it? That's right. Love is in the air. Just look at your heart stickers, photos, videos, and passionate handwritten messages. So go and spread love and hugs. Yes, and snuffly kisses. Far and wide. For the UK's most personalised card this Valentine's Day, nothing beats a Moonpig.com. Use code LOVE20 to get 20% off cards. To verify, see www.moonpig.com/personalised.
$1.29 at McDonald's gets you a mini Oreo McFlurry. $1.29 on a big night out gets you...
Sorry, no trainers.
McDonald's Saver Menu. Actually get your money's worth. From 11 a.m. Price and participation may vary. Price varies on delivery. Subject to availability.
Whatever kind of football fan you are, Talk Sport and the Coral Daily Download are here for it to celebrate the fans every day. Whether you're a front row seater or a prawn sandwich eater, a half-and-half scarf wearer or a lifelong faithful torchbearer, a retro shirt for every game or bare-chested, even in the rain. For all the latest news, reaction and odds this season, don't miss the Coral Daily Download. Every morning from 6 on Talk Sport. With Coral, we're here for the fans. 18+, gambleaware.org.
Feel the full force of football.
Have we
Golf.
What a great bit of play.
On Talk Sport.
Emirates FA Cup half-time highlights on Talk Sport with Carling. Brilliantly refreshing from the first sip to the last. 18+, always drink responsibly.
Round 4 of the FA Cup gets underway. Ruud van Nistelrooy happened to be interim United boss at the time for those wins. Now he's here in the other dugout as the new man at the Foxes, trying to steer them away from the relegation trouble they're currently in. But his task this evening is to try and heap more misery on a United fan base more used to home defeats these days than wins. Chinking away from Yoro, pulls it back, chance for Ndidi, blocked on the line, it's tucked away by Dickled over Reed, and Leicester hit the front 4 minutes from half-time, and that small band of Leicester fans away to our right. Joy unconfined for them, but elsewhere around Old Trafford, once again, it's stunned silence. The holders are behind.
Leicester City lead away at Manchester United at half-time in the FA Cup fourth round, live on TalkSport. Bobby de Cordova-Reid's goal just a few minutes before half-time is the difference so far, but also in terms of level of performance, it took a long time to get going, but Leicester City have grown and grown in confidence, while Manchester United has seen theirs virtually disappear. One player warming up from both teams at half-time, Alejandro Garnacho of Manchester United, out there with one of the coaches of their team, and I've got to say, he doesn't look overly interested in coming on, so maybe he's not coming on exactly on the stroke of half-time. Maybe he'll be given 5 or 10 minutes to get exactly up to speed before he makes his entrance. Manchester United certainly need a spark. Those are the half-time highlights, all thanks to Carling.
Emirates FA Cup half-time highlights on Talk Sport with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup. 18+, always drink responsibly.
Well, tomorrow lunchtime here on TalkSport, we'll have live commentary of Leyton Orient against Manchester City. Manager of City, Pep Guardiola, says he isn't overlooking the tie, even with Real Madrid on the horizon in the Champions League on Tuesday night.
Tomorrow after the game, we play early at 12:30, so we will come back early here to Manchester, and after we have time to start to talk. Of course, I had an eye against Madrid, but Leyton deserves my attention. Always have been like that. Otherwise, we'll not get the amount of semi-finals, finals, the FA Cup in the last 5-6 years. So that's why I'm concerned and focused in Leyton.
Leyton Orient have been on a very good spell until their defeat against Stockport at the weekend. Richie Wellens, their manager, big Manchester United fan, will be desperate to take the scalp of Manchester City. I'm sorry though, Pep, I don't believe you. There's going to be plenty of changes in that City team, loads of youngsters, and maybe it is all set up for a massive giant killing in the FA Cup fourth round. 12:15 start, or the build-up from 11 o'clock. For Leyton Orient against Manchester City in the FA Cup fourth round. And we will also have Manchester City's game against Real Madrid, the first leg of the playoff round in this season's Champions League, live for you on Tuesday night here on TalkSport. Both games should be very entertaining indeed. What do you think, Lucy Ward, who's alongside me? for City against Orient? Do you think there's a chance?
Well, I do think that City, like you say, he'll make loads of changes, because that game in midweek is so important to what City do. You know, they want to win the Champions League, they want to get through. It's such a difficult tie, but Leyton Orient are doing well. You know, I think they lost at the weekend after so many wins in a row against Stockport. But it'll be difficult for City.
Absolutely, it will. Manchester United's players, by the way, already back out here at Old Trafford, still awaiting their opponents, Leicester City. Would you make changes? We just saw Alejandro Garnacho warming up. Would you immediately go for a change if you were Ruben Amorim?
I just think that you need to have Dorgu on the left-hand side, left wing-back, because it's not necessarily about the fact that they're inverting, it's where they're receiving the ball. They're not receiving the ball in behind, they're receiving the ball facing towards their own goal, and with someone behind them, there's no runners beyond. Does it look like they made any changes?
It looks like there will be a change if my maths is correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 players out there from Manchester United, so one is missing, I'm sure about that. We'll see if Alejandro Garnacho is the change that is made. I can't see exactly who is missing from the starting lineup. I feel like
I can't see Dorgu.
It's Dorgu, is it? Yeah, it is. No Patrick way. Dorgu, 45 minutes, and I've got to say, it was one of the better performers for Manchester United in that first 45 minutes.
They just needed to create a situation where that
really poor. They're actually boring. Go in the dressing room, tell the players what the game is about. The game is about putting the ball in the back of the net, and it doesn't look like they're even trying. And I can't disagree with a word of it. Leicester City just making their way out of the tunnel here. What did they have to do, Lucy, to hold on to this lead and get themselves into round 5?
Yeah, just keep doing what they're doing. I think they've defended well. They've denied space to Manchester United, particularly in front of them and behind the back four. They've defended that really, really well, and they've made the most of the chance that they've got. And I think that it's up to Manchester United, and the onus is on them to create something.
Manchester United fans here inside Old Trafford booed them off at half-time. They'll want to see an immediate reaction at the start of the second half, live here on TalkSport. At the break, Manchester United 0, Leicester City 1, the second half, in the company of the former Leeds forward Lucy Ward and TalkSport's Ian Danter.
So Alejandro Garnacho for Patrick Dorgu is a substitution made by Ruben Amorim as the second half gets underway. The 20-year-old who scored 3 goals this season, his last was in November in the Europa League against Bodo Glimt. 10 goals last season for Garnacho, and he's on for Dorgu, and that will mean a change in the system. We'll see how it pans out once we're underway, but the whistle has gone, and Leicester in all blue attacking the south stand, their fans in the southeast corner to our right, still singing loud and proud. Manchester United attacking the Stretford end, as they love to do in the second half of games, in the traditional red shirts, white shorts, black socks.
Yeah, Ahmad's gone to right wing back, and Garnacho has just gone in behind as a left 10 with Menu.
Yep, Ahmad more defensive duties, but he'll get further forward as the game goes on if the scoreline stays the same. Leicester 1-0 in front, remember, and
Dorgu was the best player in the first half, one of the better players for Manchester United in the first half.
Well, he certainly didn't hide, did he?
No, he didn't.
And he had a lot of the ball, and he didn't really waste it that often. But yep, well, that's manager's prerogative. So it is in front of Anana, Ahmad and Dalot as the wing-backs, as Garnacho and Højlund gets away down the left-hand side from Wout Faes, charges into the area, Samari trying to keep up with him, pulls it across the face of goal, and it was a comfortable clearance in the end from Caleb Akoli, falling over his goalkeeper as he did so. But Rasmus Højlund showed a turn of pace down that left-hand side, but the cross didn't find a teammate. 1-0 Leicester.
It looks in slow motion then. What Højlund did was just let the ball between his legs and let it run past Faes, and then just running up that left-hand side. He couldn't catch him, but just ran out of balance in the end there, Højlund. But that looked positive from him.
So Anana in goal, Yoro, Maguire, Mazraoui, the 3 centre-halves. It's now Amad Diallo and Diogo Dalot. Oh, that's confusing. That's the wing-backs. And then you've got Mainu, Ugarte, Fernandes, Garnacho, Højlund. Leicester, as they were at the get-go. Hermansen in goal, as Yoro passes it straight out of play for a Leicester throw. Justin, Faes, Akoli and Thomas in a back four, and Didi and Samare holding. Ayew, El Khanous and Dekodova Reid, the goal scorer, in behind Daka. 2 minutes gone in the second half, and Leicester have a throw deep in the United half. El Canouse, little flick in field to find Decordova-Reid, tries to go inside Lenny Yoro, but it's cleared away downfield by Ugarte inside his own penalty area. Where's that going to drop? Centre of the United half, but Bruno Fernandes just got a foot in to take it away from Jordan Ayew, who, if he'd won it back, Leicester would have been in a dangerous position. And then a poor challenge by Luke Thomas on Ahmad, and the referee waits about 3 seconds, then gives the free kick. Leicester lead by a goal to nil.
Do you know, this is the 7th time in the last 8 home games that United have conceded first, and so you're always an uphill battle when that happens. You know, you can't keep trying to overcome that when you're at home, because the crowd get anxious, and then you can tell the players are lacking in confidence in, I don't know how they're playing, confidence in, you know, the way that they're set up and the formation. They don't look particularly happy with it.
They have not lost any of their last 18 FA Cup ties that have been played to regulation time, i.e. just 90 minutes. The last visiting side to win here in 90 minutes was Arsenal in 2015. Borough won on pens here in 2022. They used to get you through to the business end of this cup competition, Manchester United, but as things stand, the holders are in danger of going out. 3 minutes gone in the second half. Leicester had that advantage. Yoro tucks the ball in field, put Ugarte under a lot of pressure, but he did so well to slide the ball out to Dalot on the left-hand side, and now Maguire has it back and fires it out to Ahmad. Poor ball in field, comfortably picked off by Soumaré, but then he gets dispossessed, and again it's getting scrappy. Ahmad sees Dalot making a run down the left-hand side, floats it out to him. Control is difficult for Dalot because it skidded in front of him, the ball, and it ended up being a throw to the Foxes on this near side, with Leicester attacking the south stand in the second half. 1-0. They lead.
Manchester United need more from the 2-10. So at the moment you've got Garnacho as the left 10, and you've got Menu as the right 10 behind Højlund. One of the reasons that Højlund doesn't get that many chances in front of goal is that you're not getting enough movement, not getting them into space. Runs beyond your need if you're going to play this formation.
Bruno Fernandes strokes it out to Ahmad, right-hand side, but Thomas gets his foot in, puts it out of play for a throw. Quick question. Is the bloke that was asleep that you spotted in the first half, is he awake now?
Yeah, he's taking his hat off so that he's cold, so that he has to stay awake. That's what's happened.
Just checking. Wonder how much he paid. Here is Patson Daka turning for Leicester and moving into the United half. El Canouse takes it up now, up to the edge of the area. He shoots and he drags it well wide in the end. It went a good 3 or 4 yards wide of Andre Onana's far post, and it's a goal kick to Manchester United, but a sighter early in this second half for Leicester, who lead by a goal to nil.
Well, Canouse didn't really believe that he was going to score from there. It did sort of open up, and it took his time to have that shot, and then just no real conviction behind it.
You're listening to Manchester United 0, Leicester 1 in the FA Cup Game Day live on TalkSport with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup. 18 plus, please drink responsibly. United under pressure in their own defensive third. Plenty of blue shirts trying to take the ball off Garnacho in this instance, but indeed he clips him too much, and it's a free kick in Manchester United's left back position.
This is an important game for various reasons for Manchester United, but quite a lot of the time in the first half it looked like they didn't quite believe in the system. Right, as soon as you start with that, with a manager where they quite believe what they're being asked to do, left footer on the right hand side, then take him off at half time, and you know, senior players are a nightmare. Players will play in a certain way or have that lack of confidence, and it manifests itself in a lack of performance, and they certainly cannot afford that.
That's subconscious, not conscious.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely subconscious. You know, and that lack of belief means that some of them are doing it, some of them are trying, but some of them are like, hang on a minute, this isn't working, we need to do something different.
That's Lucy Ward. You can hear alongside me Ian Danter here at Old Trafford. And once again, a very good late afternoon to our listeners via Sirius XMFC in the USA and Canada tuning into this. We've got loads of FA Cup football to bring you on TalkSport, and indeed via Sirius XMFC across the weekend. All those games tomorrow, including Leyton Orient, Manchester City, to get things underway tomorrow on FA Cup Game Day for Saturday. Throw in for Leicester City. Thomas stumbles as he gets the throw in. Headed up in the air by Jordan Ayew. Indeed, he tries to improvise a volley at the edge of the area, disguise it, and Manchester United get it clear. headed back downfield by Justin, flicked on by Decordova-Reid. Daka heads it infield, but it's comfortable for the former Leicester centre-half Harry Maguire to tidy up, and United try and build, but Mazraoui telegraphs that pass. Oh, brilliant skill, Ahmad, to completely bamboozle Thomas down that right-hand side. Mainu now takes over. Out of play it goes, and it's actually a free kick for Manchester United.
Thomas tried to jump in and Ahmad turned him, and
now Mainu down the right-hand side of the area, can pull it across the face of goal, can only find Kalibakoli, and it's cleared away by Leicester. Up to halfway, and Mazraoui takes it up now. Goes for goal from distance, and it's a good 6 or 7 yards wide, and Leicester have a goal kick, and the danger passes for the visitors, who lead 1-0.
A little bit of positivity there when you've got Mainu and Ahmad down that right-hand side combining, but I do like the look of Ndidi and Samaria. Look a lot more physical, a lot more compact in that central midfield area, just making sure nothing gets through them and protecting the centre-backs. The centre-back area has been a struggle for Leicester this season.
Yeah, Vestergaard dropped this evening, not even in the sub-shack this evening, Yannick Vestergaard. There is a 15-year-old on the bench for Leicester, Jeremy Monga, a very exciting midfield talent who can play across the line. Ruud van Nistelrooy was being quite effusive about him in the pre-match presser. Here's another very clever player, El Khanous, tucks it out to Decordova-Reid. First time ball into the box, and it's an awkward clearance by Mazraoui, helped out of play by the head of Dalot for a throw to Leicester. Only 10 yards from the corner flag. Leicester lead 1-0.
Good
8
play.
minutes gone, second half.
Yeah, El Khanous, good play again. He's getting a little bit of space now, just using his trick. Manchester United don't want to really tackle him, but good ball into the box. Just needed better runners into the box from Decordova-Reid.
Who has it now, Decordova-Reid? El Khanous plays it to the edge of the area, gets it back from Justin. He's level with the edge of the United penalty area on this near side. Plays a little 1-2 with Decordova-Reid, tries to ride the challenge of Ugarte. United get it half clear, but then Justin slides in to stop Garnacho getting away down the inside left channel. Goes out of play, and Amorim scrambles to get to the loose ball and give it back to his players to get it back and restarted. Nearly 10 minutes gone in the second half on TalkSport. Manchester United 0, Leicester City 1. The holders behind, and they've been dispossessed, and El Khanous, this bright spark who arrived from Genk in the summer, plays the ball forward looking for Daka, cleared away by Maguire, but only as far as Decordova-Reid, but he just elects to slow the game down to walking pace. And then Ndidi fires the ball back into his own half for Akoli. Kalibakoli will square the ball for Fass. He's got two United players herring in on him, so he plays it forward to El Khanous, who plays a lovely little reverse ball to find Ndidi, but his toe poke over halfway was intercepted by Ugarte. Now Garnacho, who's beaten Justin for pace, getting into the area left-hand side. Garnacho pulls it across, but again, nobody in a red shirt could get the initial shot in. Bruno Fernandes tries an effort from just inside the area, blocked away by Ndidi for a United throw.
I don't understand how Garnacho doesn't start in these games. Twice I've seen him come on at half-time in the last couple of weeks and make a difference, because he's positive and he gets past players.
Euro for Manchester United. Back to Maguire. Double change coming up for Leicester very shortly. Harry Winks and Woyo Koulibaly coming on shortly, but here's Mainu down the right-hand side of the area, trying to backheel it back into the path of Ahmad. Indeed, he's gone down inside his own penalty area, lying flat on his back. Not sure quite what's happened there, whether he's pulled up with an injury off the ball.
Yeah, you'd hope not, because he's been very good as he come back. Certainly, indeed, he's made a difference, but it's just, the game's just starting to tip in the momentum in terms of Manchester United, which I think is why Van Nistelrooy is making a couple of changes, because they just need a little bit more strength.
I think he just wanted to lie down, because he's back on his feet and he's trotting off to this near touchline, because he's the player that's making way for Harry Winks to replace him for Leicester, and Luke Thomas is making way for Woyo Koulibaly, who's made a couple of sub-appearances since his move from Parma last month. He played for Enzo Maresca at Parma. The former Leicester manager is now at Chelsea. Chelsea play Brighton tomorrow night, live on TalkSport. I think it's Alex Crook and Scott Minto who are down at the Amex for us tomorrow night for the 7:45 game. It's just wall-to-wall FA Cup tomorrow. You've got Leyton Orient, Manchester City. Our coverage starts at 11 here on TalkSport. Then you've got Leeds Millwall from noon on TalkSport 2. From 3 o'clock on TalkSport 2, I'll be at Goodison Park with Perry Groves as Everton and Bournemouth lock horns again. If it's anything like the league game that we watched in August, where Bournemouth somehow won the game 3-2 late on, be a very thrilling game. And then my lot, Birmingham City against Newcastle United at tea time on TalkSport 5:30. We will get to St Andrews and much more besides this weekend. Manchester United trailing Leicester by a 1-0. Here's Alejandro Garnacho on as a half-time substitute. Tucks the ball back to Lenny Yoro. Bruno Fernandes rides the challenge of Decordova-Reid. Plays it across to Mazraoui, just to the right of the centre circle. Drops his shoulder to get away from Ayew. Plays it out to Ahmad on the right-hand side. Faced up by Koulibaly, his first bit of defending since coming on. Ahmad plays a 1-2 with Mainu, but then showed too much of that to Patson Daka, who was back defending for Leicester, and the ball's gone back to halfway, and Manchester United have to start again.
Yeah, Lenny Yoro and Mazraoui have swapped sides again. Lenny Yoro's gone a left-sided centre-back. This is from the start of the second half, so he's just moved a couple of things around. It's obviously not working.
It's very true. Here's Ugarte. Out to Ahmad, right-hand side. With Manchester United attacking the Stretford end in this second period. It's a poor pass, this time from Ugarte. Ayew tries to turn away from trouble, loses out. Quickly United play the ball out to Garnacho, who tried to hook the ball over James Justin's head, but Justin read the flight of the ball better than the United striker, and Winks gets involved for the first time tonight since coming on. Daka on halfway, guides it down to El Khanous. He just looks like he's having just a kid's game in the park, doesn't he, Bilal El Khanous? Looks completely so laid back, he's horizontal.
Yeah, he's some lovely touches on the ball. He's just starting to find his own little bit of space now, just dropping in between the defence and midfield of Manchester United.
Just 20 years of age, the Moroccan, Bilal El Khanous. 3 goals in all competitions. Here's Winks for Leicester. Plays it out to El Khanous on this right wing. First time ball from him into the near post looking for Daka. Was dealt with by Harry Maguire. And it's now knocked down for Mazraoui. Bruno Fernandes, the United captain, fires the ball into the path of Kobbie Mainu over the halfway line. Waiting for Ahmed to move up alongside him on the right. Mainu goes again down the right-hand side of the penalty area, trying to get away from Boubakary Soumaré, but Soumaré does really well actually, wins the ball, drops the shoulder and gets away from him, and then Ayew tucks it back for Koulibaly. But Man United still got players forward, but Koulibaly with a calm ball in field to Harry Winks, who's at the centre of his own half, and Decordova-Reid tucks it back to Justin.
Yeah, Winks has done well since he's come on, just connecting passes in that central midfield area. I tell you what, Manchester United's recovery in that central area is really poor when Leicester have just cut through them quite easily with 1 and 2 touch play and managing to get themselves up the pitch.
Harry Winks has just 1 goal this season. That was in the EFL Cup against Tranmere back in August. Here's El Khanous, dispossessed by Garnacho this time. Went in strongly on Maguire to win it back though. Didn't hang about there, the youngster. And it's back with Calabacoli for Leicester City, who lead by a 1-0 on the hour. If you're just tuning in to TalkSport on FA Cup Live, the goal coming just before half-time from Bobby Decordova-Reid after Wilfred Ndidi's shot from the edge of the box was well saved by the foot of Andre Onana, but Decordova-Reid just instinctively headed the ball home right in front at the Stretford end. But the United fans, as you can hear, trying to get behind their team and get them up the field and get them incentivised to try and get level. Throw in from Justin for Leicester. Yoro wins the header back, just drops out the sky just inside the Leicester half of the field. Koulibaly turns it back to Okoli. Fass, ball along the deck up to halfway and Decordova-Reid. Good ball in field for Daka. El Khanous plays it back to Daka in field, across to Jordan Ayew, centre of the United half of the field. Koulibaly's now made a run, might be used as a decoy by Ayew.
Too easy though, Ian. When Leicester get the ball, I mean, they sort of wrestle momentum away from each other. Manchester United had it for a few minutes and now Leicester have got it, but it's too easy for Leicester to pass the ball in Manchester United's half.
Well, Jordan Ayew tries to do too much bobbing and weaving. Oh, El Khanous again sliding into, this time dispossess Bruno Fernandes. Joshua Zirkzee is now getting some last second instructions from Ruben Amorim. He's the next cab off the rank for Manchester United to try and sort out this scoreline. Manchester United 0, Leicester City 1 on TalkSport. 62 played at Old Trafford.
Yeah, Harry Winks. All of a sudden now Leicester can connect passes through that central area. I think Samari and indeed he did really well in terms of physically defending, but now all of a sudden you've got a passer in there, and they are passing it quite well, Leicester, at times.
Onana gives the ball to Mazraoui, still on the right side of those centre halves, with Yoro switching to the left, as Lucy Ward pointed out early in this second period, switching flanks from the first period. Yoro's been forced perhaps back to his own keeper by Deco-Reed. Dalot just jinks the ball away from the Leicester goal scorer. Now Fernandez just hoofs it out to the right wing. Lovely ball for Ahmad, but Koulibaly read the bounce of the ball and just pokes it out of play for a throw-in, and this will allow the arrival of Joshua Zirkzee, who's coming on for Kobbie Mainoo, and he has just less than half an hour to try and affect this scoreline. It's Zirkzee for Mainoo for Manchester United. Lucy Ward.
Yeah, I quite like Zirkzee when he drops a little bit deeper. I think when he starts in the 10, he's not quite as effective when he drops from the 9 into the 10, but we'll see, because it's all about connecting that play in those areas. They've shown little flashes, Manchester United, in the second half, a little bit better than the first, but the reaction to losing possession is really poor, you know, in terms of they like to get themselves up the pitch, but there's not enough players that when they lose possession really recover well physically, and that is certainly something that Leicester are doing.
Maguire on halfway, plays it to his right for Mazraoui. Now Maguire's had to drop 10 yards inside his own half to receive possession. Yoro just to his left will play it down to this near touch line right in front of the two managers and Alejandro Garnacho. Fernandez turns the ball in field neatly. Ugarte pulls away from Samari, slips it through to Garnacho. Lovely ball, onside in the area. Garnacho! Oh, he's cleared onto the crossbar. Brilliant defending by Akoli. That looked all the world like he was going to cross the line. It was a lovely chip by Garnacho over the goalkeeper, but Caleb Akoli had not given up on it. He slid in and volleyed it against the underside of the crossbar, and it stayed out. Leicester still lead.
I have no idea how that ball stayed out the back of the net. Akoli is celebrating that goal line clearance. He kicks it up in the air, just trying to get it over the bar. It hits the underside of the bar, comes out, but Garnacho again. Brilliant, positive play from that left-hand side. Fast did enough just to get a little touch on it. The ball spinning into the back of the net, but Akoli just did enough. Wow. Love that reaction, though. He's absolutely celebrating like he scored a hat-trick.
Well, we see a lot of that from defenders nowadays when they put in a good challenge or repel a dangerous attack, celebrating like they've scored. It's not unusual these days, but I think Akoli deserved that little celebration. In fact, the shot took a deflection to loop it over Hermansen because Garnacho was looking for power, but the shot just took a nick off the legs of Wout Faes, and that's what took it over the despairing arm of Hermansen, who's just taken a free kick for Leicester. Headed in field from the left-hand side by Jordan Ayew. Daka out towards the corner flag on the far side of the field. He's got Mazraoui at his back. Gets to the corner flag, and does he want to throw for Leicester? He has. 25 minutes to go on TalkSport. It is still Manchester United 0, Leicester City 1, as it was at half-time.
Yeah, well, Leicester might naturally start to defend a little bit deeper. They must just try not to do that, because Manchester United will be quite encouraged to come on top of them. So really getting themselves up the pitch is very important, which is what they've done now.
Throw-in control by Patson Daka on the far side of the field. Works it in field for Sumare. He tried to flick it blind down the left-hand side of the area. United got it clear, but Akoli's there again, just to step in front of Ahmad and knock it out of play for a Manchester United throw about 15 yards inside Leicester territory. Leicester leading by a goal to 0 midway through the second half here on TalkSport. Dalot back to Maguire. He won't be enjoying this so far against his old club. Plays the ball up to Rasmus Højlund, who's scrapping for possession with Akoli. Good ball out to Ahmed into the area right hand side. Koulibaly gets half a foot in to get it clear away for a moment. Back comes the cross into the area. Might drop at the edge of the box for Yoro. Nods it out to Garnacho. Fully and calmly to bring Manchester United level with a quarter of the game to go. Manchester United 1, Leicester City 1.
Yeah, there's all again about Garnacho down the left-hand side. They've been building up that bit of pressure, haven't they, Manchester United? Just raising the intensity, which is exactly what they needed in the first half, but didn't deliver. But it ended up at the feet of Xerxes, who just calmly just side-footed it into the back of the net. And it's not perfect from Manchester United, but at least have got that goal back and on level terms.
Xerxes then on the mark for Manchester United to bring them level. Only 4 goals so far before tonight in Manchester United colours. He's played in a few positions. Scored on the opening weekend against Fulham. But he's found it difficult to find the back of the net regularly since then. But that's an important goal for him, and he's in possession now for Manchester United, although he's dispossessed by El Khanous, who's a much slighter figure. He felt he was fouled by his opposite number. Michael Salisbury disagrees, and Leicester have a throw 1-1.
I don't think he was, but I think Leicester thought that the referee was going to blow as well, but because they had a chance to get it forward. But Leicester, this is an important period of the game, the next 10 minutes for Leicester, that they do not give another goal away. They need to be as compact as they possibly can and still take the game to Manchester United if they can.
Okoli finds Winks. Oh, he's given that away to Ugarte in the centre circle. Quick ball up to Rasmus Højlund, who can now run at the Leicester back line, looking to get Garnacho away down the left, but he showed too much of that to James Justin, and Justin clears it into the arms of one of the Leicester substitutes warming up down this near touchline. United throw. 1-1 the score, just over 20 minutes to play. Extra time if it remains level after 90 minutes. And then the potential for a penalty shootout tonight at Old Trafford. Meantime, Garnacho again jinking down the left-hand side of the area. Justin staying with him this time. So it goes back 5 or 6 yards to Lenny Yoro. Now Maguire across to Mazraoui. And now Ahmad playing as a right wing back in this second period. Maguire just hoofs it down the left-hand side, looking for Dalot. It's a great ball and a decent first touch from Dalot. He's kept it in play, finds Garnacho, left-hand corner of the box, steps inside Justin and then gets it all wrong. He was trying to find the top corner, but curled it closer to row P in the Stretford end. Yeah, goal kick 1-1.
He's saving Manchester United at the moment, Garnacho, just because he's so positive on the ball. Yes, the shot in the end was a little bit wayward, but I think since he's come on, it just gets the energy from the crowd because he drives forward. They didn't have that sort of running behind in the first half. That was nothing to do with Dogu. That wasn't his fault, but he's just such a positive player.
Garnacho, one of those players who was out of favour with Ruben Amorim for a time, but he's found his way back into the squad, and he was pivotal in that equaliser. Justin for Leicester, sliding it down the right-hand side, asking Daka to give chase. And he's won a throw as Yoro slid in and put it out of play about 10 yards from the corner flag on this near side. Leicester attacking the south stand where their supporters are, in the southeast corner in this second period. And they're taking their time over getting this ball back into play. That's why you can hear the jeers around us from elsewhere in Old Trafford. Justin now has the ball in his hands. El Khanous making a run down the dead ball line. Out it goes though to Daka, who actually sees Bruno Fernandes step in front of him, but his clearance only finds Winks. El Khanous now trying to pick it up inside the area, but Xerxes steps in front of him, and then a pretty heavy challenge from El Khanous flattens Harry Maguire. And he offers that hand of friendship. And
he's done a few of them, bless him. El Khanous, he's quite a slight player, but he certainly goes into 50-50s, and that was certainly a foul on Maguire. But just Leicester just trying to take the sting out of the momentum. You know what, we talked about playing at Old Trafford, but when you've certainly got the momentum with you, it's difficult for the away team, and all Leicester's trying to do is take the sting out of the game.
And Casey McAteer is going to come on for Leicester's goal scorer, Bobby De Cordova-Reid. Been at the Leicester Academy since he was 8 years of age, Casey McAteer, 23 now. Excuse me, last year was his breakthrough season at Championship level, scoring 7 goals. Hasn't scored yet this season, the Irish midfielder. So it looks like 4-4-2 for Leicester. It looks like El Khanous is playing alongside Daka, and McAtee is playing almost as a regulation right winger. We'll see how that settles down now that play's restarted. Manchester United 1, Leicester 1. Here is El Khanous, but there's a foul on Ugarte, and Manchester United have taken the free kick from the wrong place, says Michael Salisbury.
They're lucky really that they got the free kick then, Manchester United, because Leicester had so many players beyond the ball. It's just challenge on Ugarte from behind, but I don't think there was that much in that.
Maguire finds Yoro out to this near touchline, and Fernandes being watched by McAtee, so it goes in field. Maguire faced up by Daka. Again, Yoro looks for Bruno Fernandes. Easy ball in field, neatly controlled by Dalot. Then Ugarte spots Ahmad in space, tries to find him, but Koulibaly again has just got the measure of that crossfield ball, and he's won the throw for Leicester as well. Or did he not touch it and the ball just went straight out of play? It's been given us a Leicester throw, 1-1.
I think he judged it really well, because obviously the ball's in the air a long time as it's coming out to Ahmad on those switches, and he's judged it well since he's come on.
73 minutes gone. You're listening to Manchester United 1, Leicester 1 in the FA Cup Game Day live on TalkSport with Carling, the official beer of the Emirates FA Cup. Pulled back from Amad Diallo, and it just got beyond Garnacho. Went through his legs actually, so he was trying to run onto it around the penalty spot.
Good defending though. Leicester just make sure they block as soon as the ball enters the area, but great play from Ahmad, and it's just right on the edge now for Leicester. They need to get a little bit of composure.
Yeah, 1-1, just a reminder, Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup, 18 plus. Please do drink responsibly. Leicester in possession with Jordan Ayew. Back it goes to Caleb Akoli, who made that dramatic clearance from underneath his own crossbar to keep it at 1-0 for the time being, but it is level now at 1 apiece. Just over a quarter of an hour to go on TalkSport, our first of 11 FA Cup commentaries across not just the weekend but into Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah, Man United are not feeling the threat from Leicester at the moment, so it just encourages Manchester United onto Leicester and just continuing that sustained pressure up the pitch to our left.
And again, Garnacho the target. Lovely floated ball out to him from Bruno Fernandes. Darts down the left-hand side of the area, pulls it back, but there's nobody in a red shirt at the edge of the box. Intelligent pullback from Garnacho, but nobody there to receive it. And again, you can hear what the locals think about that, but it's won back by Xerxes, dispossessing Koulibaly. Garnacho has it again, left-hand side of the area, running out of room, gets to the byline and wins a corner off Justin at the Stretford end, 1-1.
I mean, James Justin is under real pressure from Garnacho, but he actually stuck to his task then really well as he entered the box, Garnacho, and got it on his left foot, but good defending in the end.
Corner for Manchester United, where the Stretford end meets the Bobby Charlton stand that we're sat in. Right next to the tunnel, Bruno Fernandes to strike this one in, right-footed in-swinger. Clutch of United players, including both centre-halves, beyond the far post from this strike. It's drilled in by Fernandes, looking for Garnacho, but it's won back by Leicester, who are trying to counter-attack quickly through Patson Daka. Tries to slide it through to El Khanous. El Khanous goes down under pressure, but Mazraoui had won the ball first. El Khanous fell over the feet of Mazraoui long after he'd got a toe into the ball.
Oh, that was a close one. He did so well, Mazraoui, then. It was a break from Leicester, and it was 2v1 from Manchester United's corner.
Bruno Fernandes looking for Dalot this time, getting away down the inside left channel, down the left-hand side of the box. Again, he's got Justin facing him up. Garnacho on the overlap, not used. Goes back to Bruno Fernandes, urged to shoot by thousands around us at Old Trafford. Instead, he curls the ball out to the right-hand side, looking for Ahmad, but that's protected behind for a goal kick by Koulibaly. 1-1 at Old Trafford, 14 minutes to go. Is there to be a winner inside the 90, or are we set for extra time on TalkSport?
Well, for the majority of the season, Leicester have struggled to defend their own right-hand side, and that is what Garnacho is taking advantage of, going straight at James Justin, struggling to cope with him, and then getting balls into the box. Just haven't made the most of them after that equaliser.
Smack downfield from the goal kick by Hermansen out to the left-hand side, looking for Ayew. cleared away by Manchester United, and then Koulibaly couldn't keep it in play, so United have a throw pretty much bang on halfway on the far side of the field, and Ahmad throws it down to Mazraoui, took back to Maguire. They're looking to find players out wide more and more, particularly down this left-hand side. Justin's the player they're targeting, United, isn't it?
Yeah, they had absolutely zero width in the first half. Nobody got they were always coming inside. Now they're going on the outside, and it makes a difference.
Xerxes this time on the United right, plays the ball in field, but Leicester deal with it this time. Okoli clears, lobs it up to halfway, cushion header from Maguire down to Ugarte, and now Mazraoui tight to that far touchline, under pressure from Daka's, lost out actually, but then he's won it back. Good tenacious work from Mazraoui for Manchester United. Carries the ball downfield, out to the right wing, and Ahmad, middle of the half. Oh, Mazraoui has gone again down the right hand side of the box. 4 to pick out with a cross. Look for Garnacho, but it's volleyed away by Okoli. There's a Leicester player, I think it's Daka, down off the ball, but they play on. It's not being classed as a head injury. They can play on here. Garnacho trying to go on the outside of Justin. This time Justin gets a foot in and stops Garnacho getting past him. Still the Leicester player on the deck. El Khanous goes in strongly against Maguire. Maguire's gone down the left wing as it's tucked in field by Garnacho. Gets it back from Dalot into the area. Garnacho drives it wastefully into the side netting. It was a tightish angle, but he didn't try and go across the goalkeeper. Tried to beat him at his near post, and it was well into the side netting. Goal kick, 1-1.
Great play from Dalot. He saw the run of Garnacho. He keeps getting into that inside left channel, but he's just a little bit greedy. You can see Hoyland's reaction in the middle. He just needed to, if he'd have just put that across the 6-yard box, there'd have been 2-1 up Manchester United. But he has played well since he's come on, Garnacho, and I think that is why he tried to get the winner himself. But all it needed was just to put it across the middle.
Yeah, Hoyland absolutely fizzing with rage that the ball wasn't squared across to him, because he was right in front. But Garnacho's eyes went wide as he saw the posts and decided to try and beat Hermansen. It's Daka still down, incidentally. Might be just a bit of cramp for the Leicester number 20 rather than anything more serious.
Yeah, he's worked
just
hard,
extended his leg trying to win the challenge with Mazraoui earlier, so might be a slight extension of the knee. Still receiving treatment. Gives me a chance to remind you about all the live football we got coming up for you across the weekend. So, Leyton Orient Manchester City from 11 a.m. here on TalkSport tomorrow. From noon on TalkSport 2, it's the All Championship affair between Lucy's old club Leeds United and Millwall. At 3 o'clock, you've got a choice of going around the grounds with Adrian Durham here on TalkSport with games in the FA Cup and the EFL, or you can join myself and Perry Groves on TalkSport 2, where at Goodison Park it's the All Premier League 4th round tie, Everton against Bournemouth. Then on TalkSport from 5:30, Birmingham City against Newcastle United. At 7:45 straight after that, we'll be down to the South Coast in the Amex for Brighton against Chelsea. And then Sunday, from noon on TalkSport, Blackburn against Wolves. At 2:30, our exclusive commentary for the 4th round weekend, Plymouth against Liverpool. And then at 5:15, Tottenham travel to Aston Villa. Not forgetting, we've got the second ODI between India and England on Sunday from 7 a.m. on TalkSport 2, and Super Bowl 59 from 10:30 TalkSport Sunday night.
Now Buonanotti's just come on, Ian, while you were, I think he's come on for Daka, who's limped off at the far side.
Yep. Well, Facundo Buonanotte is a player who you and I were talking with Hugh about before the game. It's a bit of a mystery why he's not really being used that much. Just 5 goals this season, but he did score against QPR in that 6-2 win in round 3. Daka's just making his way slowly round the touchline at the corner flag by the Stretford end.
And that, you know, that's the thing about the consistency of Leicester's season. Cooper played certain players like Okoli a lot. Van Nistelrooy hasn't really played him. I think he's done well tonight. And Buonanotti's not really had that chance, even though he's got a little bit of something about him.
Well, he's just got involved and took the ball back to Ayew. Ball goes all the way back to Hermansen. 81 minutes gone. Edging towards extra time, it seems, at Old Trafford. But there's always the potential for late drama at this stadium. Here is Casey McAteer flicking the ball on to halfway. Buonanotte just ran off the pitch, and the steep slope that you may remember at Old Trafford that goes right around. I think it's really dangerous.
Yeah.
And Buonanotte at full tilt ran in between the two technical areas and just managed to keep his footing as that slope suddenly kicked in, and before you knew it, he was on the tarmac. Northampton lead at Mansfield. That is the score, by the way.
Yeah, no
Graham Beecroft to tell you about 3 different scorelines. Mansfield 0, Northampton 1. That's a full-time score in League One tonight. Mansfield on a dreadful run at the moment, the Stags, and Northampton got the winner through. Let me see. Oh, it's McGeehan who got the winner for the Cobblers. Good win for them in the EFL tonight. Mansfield 0, Northampton 1. That won't make clips of the week.
It's a bad challenge.
And it is a Leicester free kick.
Is that Ugarte? He just jumped into that challenge. I mean, the referee is obviously a lot closer than me, but it just a big jump into a challenge.
We're just going to see it again on our monitors, and he did.
It's weird.
Yeah, he like stamped in the deck just next.
Harry Winks is saying, hang on a minute, that's 2-footed jump into a challenge, but
is that endangering an opponent?
Yeah, I mean, as an experienced professional, I'll tell you what. He didn't really touch him, but he jumped in and landed just in front of Winks.
Well, what's the intent there, though,
yeah,
Lucy?
Absolutely. I tell you what, what on earth is he doing, Garte?
I don't know. Well, he did get a yellow card in the end from Michael Salisbury, and Leicester have a free kick in the middle of their own half. Hermansen hits it downfield, looking for McAteer on the right-hand side. He tried to control as it dropped out of the sky, but Toe ended it out for a Manchester United throw. Well, 6 minutes of normal time to go here at Old Trafford on TalkSport. Level, 1 apiece. Manchester United getting themselves level. Leicester led by 1-0 at half-time. But Joshua Zirkzee on as a second-half substitute has us all square here. Ball drops inside the Manchester United half, and the hosts have won a throw. 2 balls on the pitch as Dalot throws the ball back into play for Maguire, but the referee, eagle-eyed, saw the second ball was right in front of him. He couldn't miss it. So Dalot throws it in for Yoro. Maguire just in front of his own 18-yard line. He'll stroke it out to Mazraoui, and they're keeping that shape that they switched to at half-time, with Mazraoui on the right of the 3 centre-halves and Yoro on the left. It was the opposite way round in the first half. Bruno Fernandes spots Dalot making a run down the left-hand side of the area. He's got ahead of Justin, pulls it back across the face of goal, but can only find Soumaré at the edge of the box. Similar to a ball that Garnacho pulled back from the dead ball line a while ago. Meanwhile, Yoro into corner at the Stretford end, 1-1.
Right, how many times do they have to cut the ball back, Manchester United, and nobody realises that probably I might hang back a bit and then I'll follow it in from the edge of the area. Zirkzee's not really, you need to be right on top of it. Garnacho's done it a number of times and Dalot's just done it then again, and they've still not learned.
Another corner at the Stretford end to Manchester United, right by the tunnel. Bruno Fernandes, right-footed, in-swinger, under the crossbar, headed up and over by Okoli, right in front of his goalkeeper. Another corner to Manchester United, and Bruno Fernandes quickly retrieves a ball from on top of one of the cones from the multi-ball system.
Okoli did well then.
Short corner this time to Garnacho, left-hand corner of the box, rolls it along the 18-yard line. Ahmad tries to tee up Mazraoui, who chips it out to the left wing for Bruno Fernandes, almost level with the Leicester 18-yard line. Trying to get away from El Kanous. Jinx inside him, lovely work from Bruno Fernandes. Plays the ball into the area, hooked away by Jordan Ayew. Now Manchester United trying to hem Leicester City into their own defensive third with 4 minutes to go. On TalkSport, extra time beckons, but United have it with Ahmad, right-hand corner of the box. Infield it goes to Bruno Fernandes, trying to send it back out right. And it will make its way out to the right-hand side eventually. And Ugarte, Buonanotte trying to close down the space for Bruno Fernandes. Ball's out of play, and United have a throw level with the Leicester box. 1-1.
Yeah, just keeping the pressure up. Manchester United, it's probably been mostly them in the second half. It's been giving us a
Leicester throw, forgive me.
Yeah, I think it touched Ugarte as it went out. But all the pressure, in fact, since just before the goal and since the goal, has just all been Manchester United.
But it stays 1-1. In goes the throw for Leicester down their left flank on the far side of the field from us. Ayew trying to turn away from Zirkzee. Zirkzee's done really well. He's won the ball back in such a tight area. It's good work from Joshua Zirkzee, and it's appreciated. It's not that long ago that he was being taken off early here at Old Trafford and feeling lower than a snake's belly, I should imagine, but he's got the equaliser that's got Manchester United interested here. 3 minutes to go, 1-1. Bruno Fernandes, Mazraoui. Ball struck across from right to left to pick out Garnacho. Lovely ball from Ugarte. Garnacho into the area, gets the shot away straight to Hermansen, and he holds on to it gratefully. Ball's hit at a decent height, and the Leicester keeper hangs on. 1-1.
Yeah, actually defending well. Leicester, you know, they're right at full tilt in terms of the defending, and under pressure Manchester United just cannot find that opening. Hermansen dealt with that well, that shot from Garnacho.
Now the keeper clears long downfield under pressure from Xerxes, drops on the halfway line. Buonanotte keeps it away from Ugarte. Sloppy pass from Koulibaly, and United have it back. Højlund, the ball just trickles over the top of his boot and allows Harry Winks to pick it up. 2 minutes of normal time to go. Then Winks runs into trouble. Garnacho dispossessed him, but then Højlund and Garnacho can't bring the ball forward properly. Now Garnacho's got ahead of Justin. Left-hand corner of the area. Winks looking to help him out. Here's the cross again to the edge of the area, but again the only player it finds is a player in a blue shirt, this time Soumare, but he's dispossessed brilliantly by Joshua Xerxes. That's the second time in a couple of minutes that Josh Xerxes got stuck in for his team and won the ball back.
Yeah, he's done well because he's playing in that right 10 position, just in behind Højlund. But he's got back because he's the size. He's Xerxes, you know, he's tall and he's athletic and physical, and he's won the ball back a couple of times, obviously buoyed by his goal.
Here he is in possession now for Manchester United as we move into the last minute of normal time on TalkSport. 1-1 at Old Trafford. Are we set for another 30 minutes of football and maybe even spot kicks? That's what Manchester United needed to get past Arsenal in round 3. But here's Garnacho down the left-hand side, onside, gets past his man, plays it into the area, headed away at the near post by Fass, picked up by Yoro. Garnacho takes over near the left-hand corner of the Leicester box, tries to play a 1-2 with Bruno Fernandes. It was a lovely idea from Bruno Fernandes, but Leicester read it well, and then Winks was caught, rather El Khanous was caught, I do beg your pardon, by Yoro, and Leicester have a free kick in their right-back position. 1-1.
Hanging on, Leicester, just everybody backs to the wall, making sure that they try and defend the edge of their area. Garnacho has had a lot of joy in this second half, but James Justin is getting a little bit of a cover now.
So Mads Hermansen will take his time over the free kick. We're about to find out how much added time we have as a minimum at the end of the second half here at Old Trafford. 3 minutes, that's what we're into now. 3 minutes or so separating us from extra time on TalkSport. But Leicester play it forward, almost got through to Jordan Ayew from McAteer's lofted pass. It was well intercepted in the end by Maguire, but Leicester have it back on halfway. That's the first time we've seen Leicester threaten in the last 10 or 15 minutes, Lucy Ward.
Yeah, just a ball. There's a lot of space in behind Manchester United, but they've just not got any sort of composed possession. Leicester, they're doing a lot of defending. All their players are working so hard. It's like a little 4-4-2 at times, and they're trying to be as narrow as possible. And again, like full tilt, and they've got better quality players, Manchester United, but they just cannot find that second goal.
Maguire floating the ball down the inside right channel, headed out for a throw by Akoli. Quickly sent back into play by Ahmad for Mazraoui. Bruno Fernandes calling for it on halfway, receives it now, gets his head up, looks for the run of Garnacho through the middle, but the ball's hit too long and too straight. There's a collector's item from Bruno Fernandes. A misplaced long ball downfield straight through to the Leicester keeper. 1-1.
Nobody in here wants extra time apart from Leicester players are just slowing it down at times, seeing that is probably their route. You know, they're not finding any sort of chances, but they can regroup at full time going into extra time.
Does that mean you're not paid by the word, Lucy?
No.
Now McAteer giving chase to a loose ball. Dalot tucks it back to Onana, who clears it left-footed. Downfield will stay in play. Cushion header from Justin infield to Winks. And Winks, just put it straight out of play. I don't know who he was looking for, whether he thought he was passing it to his manager. Nevertheless, Manchester United bringing the ball away into the last 90 seconds. Handball given against James Justin as Garnacho tried to touch it past him. And as we move into that final minute of minimum stoppage time, Manchester United have a free kick on this left-hand side nearest to us, attacking the Stretford end, and it's about midway point of the Leicester half, but only a yard in from this near touchline. Lucy Ward.
Yeah, they've got to make sure that they get bodies in there. First contact for this, both teams, Manchester United, because they're right on top of goal, but Leicester, they've got to just try and defend this.
And Fernandes drills it in, lovely delivery. Up go the heads, Maguire! It just had to be the former Fox that seals victory with almost the last kick of the game for Manchester United. The free kick from Fernandes was sent in beautifully, and Maguire just ran onto the ball at the corner of the 6-yard box and planted a firm header past the goalkeeper to score against his former club and send Manchester United through right at the death. It's Manchester United 2, Leicester City 1.
And it has been coming, the bit of pressure that they've built up the last 25 minutes or so, Manchester United, since getting that equaliser. But from Leicester's point of view, that is far too easy. The ball just drifted across. I mean, it was really well struck by Bruno Fernandes, but I'm not sure whether the keeper went back into his goal because he didn't think that he could get it, and then there was only Maguire. Nobody else from a Leicester point of view were defending that well. Obviously there's no VAR. It looks like perhaps it could be, there's probably about 4 Manchester United players who were offside there. I'm not being funny, but they were all offside, but it's no VAR. The assistant referee didn't put his flag up, and so it looks like it's going to be a Man United win right at the death.
And they're going to make a change before play even restarts.
That was offside, by the way.
Yeah, it was, but we are in a VAR-free zone here tonight. And, you know, I don't mind that personally, and I don't have a dog in the fight, you know. Ugarte's gone off and Casemiro's come on. Well, Sir Alex Ferguson is here, of course, sitting next to Sam Allardyce in the director's seats. Fergie time strikes again. Ruben time. Is that what we call it now? Play's restarted. Leicester haven't got long to try and get themselves back level. They're about to go out of the FA Cup. The 2021 winners and the holders look to be hanging on as Ahmad gets into the area, right-hand side, great skill, tries to curl it for the far post and doesn't get enough curl on it, so it ends up being a goal kick. But we're dealing in seconds now on TalkSport.
I mean, we talked before the game with you about that this place can be a negative to players, but the power of this place as well, when you're just going for that final minute, you're trying to win the game, and that, from a Leicester point of view, is too easy, but from Manchester United's point of view, they've just kept going.
And there's the full-time whistle, and there's the sound of Manchester United fans celebrating a rare home win. Ruben Amorim's team were a goal down at half-time to Leicester City, but they found a way tonight. Joshua Zirkzee got them level midway through the second half, and then as we look set for extra time, the 13 times winners won a free kick left-hand side. It was drilled in expertly by Bruno Fernandes, and the ex-Leicester centre-half, Harry Maguire, running in, planted a firm header past the Leicester keeper, and Manchester United are through to round 5 of the FA Cup right at the very last. Full time, no need for extra time at Old Trafford. Manchester